SoloBAMF Gaming here. Nope, you're not in the wrong spot. I am loading in Destiny, and this is a Diablo video. Like, sub, all that shit. I don't really care. I mean, I do, but I don't. I want more of a base, but I don't actually care. Um, in the fact that I just want to have fun and make videos. But it would be nice if they reached more people. All right, so the reason why we're in Destiny is because I feel personally that Diablo has some much needed things that they can learn from Bungie. Now, Bungie and Destiny are not by any means perfect. They have a massive amount of fucking flaws. Okay. But there are a lot of things that they do right. So, this is my character screen in Destiny. So, when I look at the character screen, I have my armor. Whoops. I have my armor and my weapons. Here's my ghost, the seasonal artifact, and all the armor pieces. Now you're going to notice, like, what are all these little side tabs? So this is where I'm right now I got Rufus's Fury on. Well, let's say I don't want Rufus's Fury, I want Malfeasance. Well, I can just simply go over here and swap it out. All right, now I have that on my weapon loadout, and so I essentially have an additional 9 slots of inventory space that I can use, and I have them readily available. So if I have 3 or 4 medallions that I like to switch to, I have a medallion that gives me a bubble. I put that on if I'm getting overwhelmed, and then I take that back off once the bubble is activated because I know it's going to be a 90 second cooldown. You know, I can swap. Sometimes I swap out different helmets if I'm going out inside different things. It's not as useful, I feel, inside of the actual Diablo world, but it gives you a priority on putting items that you can carry with you, and it separates them out from your regular inventory, and it gives you the ability to have them more quickly on hand and find them, so you don't have to dig through a stash to try and figure out where they are. Now, normally I wouldn't. Um, have them all filled like this. I just haven't been to my vault in a while, which I also need to clean out. But the other thing is, whenever I pick up an item, it's not going to go inside in Diablo. It's not going to go inside our equipment inventory on the character. It's going to go here first. So if I'm out in the world and I find, say, I find this the regiment. So say I find that out in the world in Destiny, it's going to pick it up here, and if it doesn't, if that's full, it's going to go to my postmaster, and I'll just load into the tower quick so you can see what the postmaster looks like. And the equivalent of that could just be the regular inventory equipment slots that they have that are constantly being filled anyway. I can't do an entire dungeon inside of Diablo without that entire inventory equipment slot being filled up at least once, sometimes twice, depending on the dungeon. Um, it's really just frustrating and annoying. All right, so when we're gonna load into Diablo to go over a couple of other quality of life changes, but essentially, here's uh, here's the tower. This is where all our vendors are. So if I go into the postmaster, I'm sorry, I'm getting all my buttons mixed up with Diablo. All right, so if I go inside the postmaster, this will go out to 3 rows. 4, 5, 6, 7. So I can hold 21 items because it'll do a row of 7 here, a row of 7 here, and then another row of 7 underneath it. Now anything that I don't have, it just automatically gets lost. So something, if I don't pick it up in world, it'll automatically just get deleted, or it's going to push things out of the postmaster. But the nice thing about this postmaster is I don't have to pick items up off the ground. If I don't pick up or claim certain rewards like these engrams, they'll just automatically appear inside my postmaster. And that's nice because say you miss something. Now they kind of have this inside of Diablo. If you don't pick up a unique or a legendary, it's going to show up in your stash. And I think you can only do that like up to 10. So they have a mini postmaster there. Um, that's kind of nice. Usually you notice that stuff and you pick them up. Sometimes you don't. I've had a few that have popped up in there. But the point is that when you pick up an item, instead of going into your equipment inventory slot on your character, this would be a much more efficient system. So I could have one helmet equipped, I could have a backup helmet for a different loadout, and then I could have 8 other slots. So when I picked up another helmet off the ground, it would automatically drop here. And I picked up a second helmet off the ground, it would automatically drop here. And then when I go into town and I want to sell, I can just hover over this, open up this little side menu, and I can sell all of the items that I don't want. Now, this is going to help out the inventory situation dramatically inside of Diablo. All right. The other thing that I'd like to show on this, and this is our inventory slots. So um, you have all these slots on your character. This is our inventory slots for all our potions, right? This is essentially your potions. This is all our modifications. This is all our cosmetic stuff. This is all our quest items, our inventory slots. I'm not sorry, not inventory slots, but things that we need like rally flags and other stuff like this. This is like crafting material. So they do a really good job with the crafting materials, at least now that they stopped putting limits on how many crafting materials you get, which was super annoying. Um, like I hated having to rebuy sigils when I don't remember what it was, like 2000 or something like that. Now it doesn't seem like there's a limit, but before there was, and it was super fucking annoying. But all you have to do is like I'm just tabbing over, and I'm on PlayStation, obviously. But they have different menus at the top. This takes care of all of the triumphs. So my seasonal progress and everything like that. This is all our achievements, and this is where I can go and I can check out all the gear in game. So that would be really nice if they had a spot in the game where I could say, look, I want to challenge it, replace exotic with uniques. I want to see what kind of exotics there are. There's 3 different classes I can be. All right. This is hunter. This is sorry. This is the weapons. This is the armor by class, and then these are the ornaments. So I can go in here onto any one of these 3 classes, and in Diablo it would be 5, right? And then I can literally go to the exotics or quote unquote uniques, and I can select them and I can see what they look like, and I can even purchase these. Now these are going to come with really crap rolls, right? Insurmountable skull for it. Let's just use Synthoceps as an example. Total abilities 48, but if I go to my character, I have a pair of Synthoceps right here. They're 88, which is really good. So you find them in World, you find them better. It's essentially the same as the Codex of Power, right? So you buy the shit from the Codex of Power. It's like the lowest dumb version of it, which I think we'll get into when we swap over to Diablo, because I think that also needs to be addressed. But this is a really good system. As much as I fault, then here's our clan information. So this is as much as I fault Bungie for a ton of crap that they do wrong. This is something that I kind of feel they do right. Now, this is a new feature that they just put out last season, the season before. So these are the loadouts. This is something that Diablo desperately needs. All right. So we have. I can click on any one of these. All right. And not only is it switching the weapons and it's switching the armor, but some of this armor is the same armor, and it just has different transmogs associated with it. So a lot of these helmets are the same, and it's just using the the transmog, and it's saving it inside that thing. So if I go down to Um, if I go down to here, you know, I can set the different shaders. I can even do it up here inside. Oops, inside here, I can go down. I can adjust all the different looks. I can adjust the different colors. And then when I go over to here and I save it, it's going to save that color and that look. But more importantly, now they don't have this option inside of Diablo, but in here they do. So they have I can switch out these. So if I want to have more grenade energy, if I want to have more strength energy, I can save all of this information here. And when I save it on the loadout, it transforms it and switches over. So a lot of these items that you're seeing over here, like this helmet, they're very. It could very well be the same helmet that I have that I'm using on both of those loadouts, but it's changing the way it looks and it's changing the actual stats. Now that's probably changing or keeping the transmog. That's probably something that Diablo could do since they don't have variable stats. Really, that's something they probably wouldn't do. But you get the idea of it. The idea of it is you can have a loadout here, so you could have your skill tree set up for uh, ancient hammer, right, for a barbarian, and then you can save that skill loadout. You can save those paragons. You've already invested money into because it's ungodly expensive, like 75 k to undo an affix or a paragon node. So it's a lot of money to swap between one build and another. So you could save the skill tree, you could save the paragons paths and everything that you put inside of the Paragon path, save this one as your ancient barbarian build. Then you could make another one where you could swap everything over and do a whirlwind, and then a rend build, and then maybe a rapture build, or something along those lines. That way, this gives you more incentive to actually play the game longer. This is something that they should want you to do because then you can say, look, I really like playing with my whirlwind barbarian. But you know, I really want to experiment with the ancient hammer build. So I'm going to go and create a second loadout with the ancient hammer. And then you can just swap between them without any loss of gold or anything else because you've already paid for it once. Why would you have to pay for it again? That is especially when it's so ungodly expensive. That's just absolutely ridiculous. So if I'm hanging out with you know my friends doing lower tier stuff, maybe I just want to do whirlwind. If I'm hanging out and trying to do like tier 100s, maybe I want to do ancient you know barbarian hammer crap. You know, and that should be a no-brainer option. So here I have up to 10 different loadouts that I can do. I think that this is perfect for Destiny. Actually, I wish I had maybe like two more. That would be nice in Destiny. Because I do have like two other builds. Now, if you go into my other characters don't have anything because I primarily play the Titan. But that's not the point. The point is if I did have those options and I was inside of Diablo, not only would I play the game more because I'm trying to maybe do a third or a fourth build, but it might incentivize me to actually go and branch off from the barbarian into something else. Um, so yeah, that's kind of what I like there. Now in excuse me, in Destiny, you can also craft weapons. I think that that's excuse me, the crafting in I can't clear my throat. Hold on a second. Maybe I just need to get something to drink. There we go. So the crafting inside Destiny is different than the crafting inside Diablo. Diablo's is way more complicated. Um, it's a higher learning curve, and it's completely different. But the one thing that I do like about this, a lot of my vendors are right here. So, Master, damn it. I'm getting all my shit mixed up on the buttons because of this is completely different. So all my all the vendors are right here. So this Master Raoul, he decodes all the engrams. This is Banshee. He's the gunsmith. You know, he'll sell you guns, you know, and other things like that. You have a Crucible vendor. Oops. PvP vendor right over here. You have the Vanguard vendor right over here. Now, the only thing that I don't have easy access to is the Gambit guy because he's kind of a dick and nobody likes him. The Trials guy because he's on the other side of the map and he only shows up once a week. And the Crafting, which is on a completely different world. But, like, here's the Eververse store. This is where you buy all the transaction stuff. So if you wanted to buy cosmetics or anything like that, this is where you're going to go. Now, they do have something similar to this inside of Diablo. It's a lot smaller. There's not as much options, but you know, still. Anyway, that's kind of what I wanted to show off here. Primarily, this would be huge inside Diablo. The ability to scroll over your primary weapon, swap it out with another one, um, swap out. You know, then as you pick up other weapons in that slot, they'll drop here. Any overflow will go over to your equipment inventory and then into your postmaster if they're the uniques. I mean, I think that would be, you would make a lot of people extremely happy if you did something like that. And then the other big improvement that I feel like they can learn from Bungie, um, this whole entire loadout scenario. It's way too expensive to like. I can go into here's all my classes. I can go in and I can make changes in here to any of these abilities, and then I can save that in the loadouts, and then I can make more changes and save it under a new loadout. And when I switch between them, it's not going to cost me anything to go back and change them out. Now, here's one thing that used to happen. So when you used to reset your seasonal artifact, they used to charge us a shitload of glimmer in order to do that, which glimmer is a dime a dozen inside of Destiny, but the more that you switched them out, the more expensive it got, and it became cost prohibitive because you'd have to spend like 200,000 glimmer, and you can only store 250 at a time, so it was a pain in the ass. What they're doing with the way that the amount of money that you have to spend to redo a build, it's just a pain in the ass. You're making the game unfun and unplayable. If people want to play your game, they'll experiment. How are they going to experiment? By switching things. And if you penalize them for wanting to switch their builds, they're not going to want to play as much. So your whole entire thing is to get people in the game, playing the game longer. Well, then allow them to play the fucking game. All right. Now I'm going to turn this. I tried doing this video before, and then just swapping over. But apparently, when I like to do videos in one take, so I don't care if you like that approach or not. But when I swapped over from Destiny over to Diablo, it ended up stopping the video, and then I didn't notice it like the 3 times I tried recording it. So I'm going to stop this video now, and then I'm going to reopen Diablo, and then I'll just splice them together inside of Premiere. So I'll see you in a second. All right, so now we're loading into Diablo, and I don't know if you saw that over on the side. I suppose I could go back. Well, on the side, I have other characters, right? But I'm only playing the barbarian. The other characters are named. Well, I try to name them like Gem Bitch, but apparently, even though I'm in a closed world playing with it by myself, they don't want to have me play inappropriate words. So I had to name them like Gem Mule, Unique Mule, Affix Mule, and they're literally just there for extra inventory space. And a game should not force you to create other characters just so you can have extra inventory space. I think this is the number one gripe that people have. And obviously, the video that I just made and spliced into this one, I just showed them a better way to do it. All right. So right now I got some. I'm doing some cleaning up here. I'm going through all my uniques. So I pulled all the uniques out of the unique mule, and I'm just kind of seeing which ones are duplicates and which ones I like. I actually kind of having a little bit of fun with this Fields of Crimson, but um, the point is all of this stuff right here. This stuff is almost unnecessary. So as I was pointing out before, if I come up here to the helmet, all right. So right now I have that. Well, let's use the chest piece. So I have this one right here, the Iron Blood Akron armor. So that's fine. This is what I've been using for my end game stuff. I also want to experiment with the Rage of Harogoth. Now I have a pretty decent roll on this, but it's not perfect. But I both like it and hate it. I don't feel like it gives me enough protection. Although I'm doing a Thorns build now, and this gives me Thorns, so I might end up putting that on. The Actually, I probably won't end up putting that on because I'm trying the Razor Plate. The Razor Plate is good in theory, except that ultimately, though, you know, I get that it's giving me almost 13,000 thorns, but it's literally not giving me anything else. Like this is the one thing I don't understand. Okay, if I have look at the Rage of Harrogeth, why would you give me four other affixes or whatever, but when you're looking at the razor plate, yeah, it's giving me a lot of thorns, but it's not giving me anything else. There's no damage reduction or nothing. Now at the higher levels, one could argue that the damage reduction doesn't really matter anyway. So we're going to do some experimenting, but here's the point. All right, so right now I have that equipped because I want to experiment with it, and I have the one that I normally would wear here, along with the Rage of Harrogath. Now, all three of those could easily be, you know, like what we just had in Destiny. I could have the razor plate here. We could have that little side queue of 9 extra slots. I could scroll over to there, swap them out, check out a couple of battles, swap them back, check out a couple more battles, see how I like it, see how they both perform. Then they're not tying up the inventory space down below. They're also segregated, so they're off from the side, so I know where they are, and I don't have to dig for them, to try and find them. I mean, this would be life changing in Diablo. I think that this is something that they could easily add into the game, and it would be life changing. Everybody would just love it. Um, and so, all right, so there's that. This, let's go to, oops. All right, as far as the consumables, you really just need to, and I was watching a video by Italian Spartacus. He's talked about this a little bit. I feel like he brings up a good point, and this is also a point that I made in my original video. Because I saw his video this morning, I was like, fuck it, I'm going to go spend the time to splice these together and remake my video, even though I made mine a couple weeks ago. Um, Slide these over and have potions in one, potions and incense, not incest, incense inside one, and then in the other one have this the sigils. All right, because there, I feel like I have to have one or the other. Once you start farming nightmare dungeons, you acquire a crap ton of these things. They just fill up completely, and then you're going off to invest them into dust. So the one thing I will say is that they have um, upped the game on the sigils dust. So like before, I think you could only have like 1,000 or 2,000. Now I got like 24K because I just get rid of all the ones that are irrelevant to what I'm trying to find. All right, so but the point is that you need more room for this shit. If you want us to play the game, give us some quality of life changes, please. So the other thing with the sigils is I'm only farming a certain number of them, but here's how they also could fix the sigils. I feel so slow because I don't have my boots on. Oh, actually, I do got my boots on. I still feel really fucking slow. All right. So, all right. Here's all the sigils that you can get. So, you could either group them together into tiers. I like his idea of being able to destroy, like, say, all the tier 26 to 30s. Because when I'm farming 50s and 60s, and I don't really care about doing dungeons that are lower than that. But the other thing that you could do is, all right, here's the abandoned mine works. All right, I think that's going to drop me either helmets or swords. I can't remember which one or the other. Um, so I know that I want to farm those ones. So you only have like what 10 or 15 dungeons that pop up on these sigils. So maybe inside here somewhere, you have a list of the dungeons and anything that pops up that in the world automatically gets converted. So you could say Black Onyx. Well, I don't want the Black Onyx dungeon. So whenever I pick that up, it'll automatically um, salvage it, in the world. So then I don't have to worry about it clogging up my space. All right. So that might be too much of an ask because they want you to interact with these people. Here's the other thing, though. I have abandoned mine works, another abandoned mine works, another abandoned mine works. So this is now 5, right? 6. All right, so I got like 6 or 7 abandoned mine works. Now I know that they have different dungeon affixes, right? But guess what? I'm gonna do it anyway. I don't care. I mean, yeah, I hate the ones with the lightning and you gotta stand around with your dick in your hand, waiting for the lightning to crash down and it ruins your whirlwind because you're trying to kill shit right as you activated your barbarian berserk, and then all of a sudden everybody is like, "Oh, there's lightning. I gotta go and hide in the bubble and not deal damage." Oh, great! Now my berserking's over. All right, yeah, it's a pain in the ass, but I don't give a fuck. I'll still do it. I'm not a coward. Um, so I would rather have you say, "Here's a stack of 6, 7 abandoned mine works," and you could either have a side menu that comes out similar to what we had in Destiny, where you have, um, it pops up like maybe up to 9 different additional ones, or I don't give a fuck, just make them random. Say, I activate the abandoned mine works. Um, here's the level, and then go ahead and randomly determine the shit and say, okay, this is what it's going to roll as. Do you want to do it? Sure. All right, go ahead. I mean, at least you have more. I would rather have that than less room. I would have rather have a random dungeon because there are always random dungeons, right? So I'd rather have a random dungeon than and more fucking room than to know exactly what the fuck I'm getting into and not have the goddamn room because it just fills up way too quick. Um, Oops. And what the fuck is this? The quest tab? Seriously? All right, so I got a bloodied note. Well, it's for some damn quest, but there's no way I'm filling up all of these goddamn slots with quests. Or I think I actually did when I first started the game, right? I think I picked up like 20 quests or something like that, and I couldn't pick up any more. So I might have had quest items in there. Um, Late game, nobody fucking gives a shit. This is a completely worthless tab, and even if you can't sell these, you can't drop them, you can't do anything with them. So why is this quest even in existence? Why is it just not the same as the currency quest or the whatever this thing is here? The inventory of all your ingredients and shit. Why is it not just part of that? Just like something random that you can't interact with but you never see. I mean, if anything, you want to show it, put the fuck thing right up here as a third tab underneath your profile crap instead of, this could be the sigil This could be the sigil thing right here. And, fuck off with your 2 rows. Make 3 rows. All right. Same with the aspects. Fuck off with your 2 rows. Make 3 rows. All right. If you look at my, this is another thing. I'm going to talk about this while I arduously jog all the way over to the fucking stash. Now, I get that this town is probably the best one because if we look at the town, you have the occultist here, the jeweler, the stash, the weapon bitches, and then you have the alchemist and then the purveyor. It would be really nice if they were all in this tight circle instead of having, because these are the two of them going back and forth too. The cultist and the fucking blacksmith. I'm going back and forth between those two all the fucking time. So can't we just have a crafting fair? All right, some little zone that has like all of them in a circle, so you don't have to really walk or run more than like a couple of feet. Yeah, it's entertaining. It looks nice. It's kind of different. Nice to have different cities and everything else. But can you just have one where just crafting is prioritized? I know that you can go. I know like here you can have the blacksmith and the stash and the jeweler. They're all kind of right next to each other, but you don't have the occultist there, and that's where a lot of people are going. So, yes, it's nice to have all these services, but can we get all the services tighter, or at least get the occultist, the jeweler, and the blacksmith like right next to each other? That would be quality of life changing. All right. All right. Anyway, I digress. So here, look at all these. This isn't even all the ones that I have. Those other 3 characters, 4 characters that I have um, for mules are all filled with aspects, and a lot of these are max ones. So, like critical strikes grant 16% movement speed. This one's a max barrier. So whenever I get a max one, I put it aside for future reference because it may or may not come in handy at some point. So I have those ones. I have these ones here. So I got these on 3 different things. So I got a bunch here. I almost got like almost 2 full things there. Plus, I have these ones. Plus, I have these ones again on 3 or 4 other characters. You know, it would be really nice. Here's what you should do for the stashes. You should have, let's see, you got helmet, you got chest piece, gloves, pants, boots, 1, 2, 3, 4, up to 4 different weapons. Let's just call it 5, 6 for the shield and something for what they got, the little book or whatever for the necros. You got a ring, and then an amulet. So it's like 14, 15 different items that you can find. Well, you know what? Fuck off. Make 14, 15 different stashes so I can have um, all of my potions if I wanted to here. And if I then I could swap over here and I would have all my rings, and I could swap over here and I would have all my affixes. And if I wanted to have 2 pages of affixes because I don't care about the potions, then let me have that. But we need fucking 4. Are you fucking kidding me? I in Diablo 3, I saved things as I found them for when I wanted to make other characters. Well, I quickly found out that I couldn't do that in Diablo 4 because I would run out of vault space. So all the low level stuff that I had that would have encouraged me to want to make another low level character and play another character, I couldn't save. So there was no point for me going down and making another character because I invested so much time into this one. And then I have to go find new shit, brand new shit, because all my shit right now is level 100 and it won't transfer over. So it's if you want people to play the game, you want people to um, invest time into your game, then make the quality of life easier so people can actually do that. Because if I would have had like right now, I don't feel the need to make another character. Yeah, I want to make a sorcerer. Yes, I want to make a necromancer, and it'd be okay making a druid eventually, be one of the last ones that I made. What's the other one? Whatever. So, but I mean, the point is I would make those characters, but would I make those characters now? No, because one, I've already invested a lot of time, all right, playing this character, and two, I've already invested a ton of resources to get this character to where I want them, and three, if I go and make a new character, I'm at the mercy of whatever I find in the world because I can't transfer anything over because all my shit is level 100. So, but if I would have had more vault space from the very beginning, I would have a level 10 ring that I could give my character when he was level 10, and I could take that ring and use it um, on whatever I wanted, and that would have been perfectly fine. But, now I can't. So now I don't have those items. All right. Now you could argue that I could still put gems in them because I got a crap ton of gems. Well, who cares? I mean that's not going to be the deciding factor on almost anything. I want. I had a couple of decent rings that I wanted to save for my lower level characters, for when I wanted to do the barbar or the sorcerer or whatever. Completely pointless now, and I know I'll find better gear, but until you do, you want to have your character be as strong as possible, so you're not sitting there at level 10 with your dick in your hand being like, oh, this guy sucks. So you want people to play the game, help them play the fucking game. All right. What else we got? And like I said, loadouts. Like right now, this is set up for 7, and you're noticing I don't have anything inside the legendary nodes, or the rare nodes. I just took all this out. I'm rebuilding the character. That's another video that I'm doing. But give us the ability to save it. Like let us have loadouts to save our characters. So, I mean, it cost me. I had 110 million gold when I started this. I'm down to 70. That literally cost me about 40 million gold to reset the Paragon board, and I didn't even reset it all the way. I mean, I still just saved some random shit. But then I reset the skill tree, and I moved some other things around. I bought some skill trees. I literally went through in the other video. I went through and I literally tested out every single thing. So every time I would buy one, I would refund it back. Well, every time I refund it back, it's like 75,000 gold. Just why are we paying for that anyway? Just make it fucking free. It's so stupid. I mean, even give us like a 90% cost reduction on that. Why is it 75? Why isn't it 7,000? I mean, I get that we have a ton of fucking gold, all right, but I just ate over 40 million gold to go back over all of the fucking things to see which ones I liked and which ones I didn't. Now that I'm level 100 and I wanted to fuck around and experiment. And if I did fuck around in an experiment and I wanted to save a goddamn loadout, why am I going to have to go back and spend more gold to undo all of that just to get a different loadout again down the road that I've already previously had? I already paid for it. It's like taxation in America. You get taxed on your paycheck, and then you get taxed on your gas, which is already taxed through the state from your tabs. So it's like you're getting taxed on tax on tax on taxes. No, fuck off. Just you want us to play the goddamn game, fucking let us play the goddamn game and stop putting restrictions on us playing the goddamn game. It's fucking annoying as fuck. All right. Um, I wish that you guys also did a better explanation of the damage buckets. All right, all right. So one thing I did do, and this is in my other video, and I still haven't figured it out. I got all this gear. This is all level. Well, most of it's level 100, but I guess some of it's in the 80s. Anyway, this is all just vanilla gear. There's nothing on it. I did level it up just so I didn't die when I was trying to do some experimenting. Um, I did put some gems in it. But there's nothing special about any of this. It doesn't have any affixes on it at all. Excuse me. So this whole entire bit of gear right here was for me to test out weapons. So now when I tested out this mace. So this is item power 625. All right, so it's not very high, right? Not compared to my current equipped weapon. But and the DPS is 1265. All right, so when I had this on, it said that my damage was slashing well. Now this one says 25442, but the other one when I had that other one on was like 1406. Okay, well I was not hitting for 1406. Like I literally wiped out my entire skill tree, and my basic attack should have been 1406, according to this, but it's not. So right now, if I go out there now, I have a bunch of other shit on that gives me bonuses. That's why I had all the vanilla gear on, so I could show what the damage is going to be. But um, it should have been 1406, and I was like hitting for like 300, and I was on tier one. I brought it down to tier one, so it should have been even easier to get that kind of damage, and you weren't. So um, I wish they would explain that a little bit more. The, they've had this problem since Diablo 3. I think that they probably even had it since Diablo 1 and 2. I didn't really play those ones, but I did play Diablo 3, and they had this whole entire problem with the inventory. Just do those changes. You're going to make everybody so much fucking happier. Um, I'm just going to cut this one short, and then we're going to call it a day on this. There's other changes, other things that I think one other thing that I'd love them to change. Um, so I lied. One more thing. This right here. All right. Look, I got 6 things that I can use at a time. Well, what if I want to assign multiple ones to one button? So like I didn't open it up, but in Destiny, if I wanted to have 3 different abilities tied to the X button, I could. All right, but now here I can't. All right, so I got 3 shouts. I want them to go off all at the same time. Why can't I just hit one button and have all 3 shouts onto the X button? Simple, done. Then that opens up so I can have 2 more abilities. I can put a ground stomp and a rend or something. I don't know. Whatever. Iron skin. It gives me the ability to do more, but you're limiting us to 6, which arguably is maybe that's what you want. You want us to not do that. Maybe other classes can't take advantage of that, but the barbarian definitely could. So why won't you just let us have the ability to assign additional slots into one? So I can have I can just hit the X button, and all of the buttons all the shouts are going to go off at one time. I put all the shouts to X, and then they all go off at one time. I mean, they all pretty much have the same cooldown, and if there is some overlap, then the other 2 don't go off, and the one does. So it's kind of a no-brainer. I don't understand why you guys have to be. This goes back to, do you want us to play the game or not? I mean, if we have the ability to have 100, which there's not, but arguably, let's say there's 100 different things that we wanted to do. Obviously, it's harder to do on a PlayStation, but if I had 100 abilities and I wanted to have access to all of them, and I put 1 point in each, so I could have access to all of them, and I wanted to keyboard that shit up on a PC, who are you to say no? Just let us do it. And when you have where is it? So I have a necklace that gives me 3 ranks in all defensive skills. So it gives me 3 ranks in ground stomp and 3 ranks in iron skin. I know that I can go into here and put in ground stomp or iron skin. I know that I can assign those somewhere, but then it's eating up one of the other slots. So why are you teasing us? Let me put all 3 of the shouts into one. All right, let me put Iron Skin and Ground Stomp into another. You know, then whenever I hit the buttons, I can take advantage of them. Otherwise, you're just wasting resources. All right, anyway, I'm done. Hope you guys enjoyed the video, found it useful, and thanks.